Black Hand Revenge. It rained that night, so heavily that they had to stop traveling hours before nightfall. Without a cave, they had to make do with a large tarp and a few thick trees growing close together as shelter for the campsite. It worked well enough to keep them dry, at least until the wind blew the rain sideways, spattering them with droplets and making their tiny campfire hiss. It didn't go out, though Remy was sure it was only a matter of time. None of them were particularly hungry, and they made do with a few lukewarm bowls of soup that Remy had worked together without really paying attention to the ingredients. She took only a few sips and was so overwhelmed with disgust that she couldn't finish it. Gage sipped idly at it from her lap, unwilling to move further for the soaking he would surely receive if he did. Nightingale was the first to go to bed, muttering something about still being sore from what the Malama had done. Nobody stopped her or asked if she would take a watch. "I think I'm done too," Zeke said, rising from a rock he'd chosen as a chair. "You guys don't stay up too late." "We won't," Remy waved as he vanished. She tossed another stick into the fire, which grew fainter as the stick started to steam. Rook withdrew another hour or so later. Remy waved to him, saluting with the stick she'd been using to play with the fire as he vanished into his own personal tent. "I'm sorry," Remy whispered across the fire, looking up at last. "I know." Patrick looked the worse for wear. His beard had bits of twigs stuck in it. His hair was wild and his hands dirty, yet he didn't seem to notice or care. There was no anger in his eyes as he met Remy's, only terrible pain. "When that informant turned up dead, I knew this might happen. Killing someone, taking away what should be an ageless long life." There was silence between them for a long time. The wind howled through the trees as rain pounded on the tarp, sliding down into growing puddles at its corners. Her cat purred contentedly in her lap, and she stroked his back. "You're the only happy one here, Gage," Remy thought. "I didn't want her to die." It was so hard to find the right words. "Even after kidnapping me, even after what she did to my family, I thought maybe she'd have some community service or do a few years in prison." Patrick laughed. The sound was hollow. "That wasn't a trial, Remy. It was a statement. The Black Hands got to show what happens to anyone who gets in their way. Now their grip on Romstead is safe, for the low price of the life of one extremely troubled girl." Remy reached across the fire, taking Patrick's free hand in hers. She squeezed it gently. "We'll pay them back. I swear to God we will." Patrick squeezed back, though his eyes wandered briefly to the mostly empty girl's tent. "We've got more urgent problems. But thank you." He nodded once to her, and there was respect in his eyes that hadn't been there before. "The beauty of living on Madar is that we can afford to be patient. The time will come. We'll get our revenge."